Good evening. Welcome to the Celtic Way. Celtic 4, Kilmarnock 0, and it's the Celtic Way reaction briefing or reaction podcast, whatever you want to put it in. Ryan's headline: Hatate puts the Premiership on notice as the home side eased to victory on Flag Day. A champion performance, Ryan. 4 different goal scorers. That was an enjoyable day's work. Season off to a flyer. And the statement of intent that we were speaking about in the pre-match podcast came to fruition.
Top of the league after one game, 4 goals. I was delighted when that Tony Ralston goal went in right at the end, because I knew one more goal and they would have been top of the league. They'll be top of the league for the whole of next week unless Aberdeen score 5 goals against St Johnstone. So I guess the challenge is over to them to do so. But yeah, statement made. A statement of intent, really, for the season.
Yeah.
If that is the way that Celtic are going to play, and you're hoping that can be the way that they can play for the whole of the season, then we're in for some fun watching this team. Because as I was saying on Twitter, this Mark II version of Rodgers ball is a blast. It is a hybrid between Ange Postecoglou and Brendan Rodgers' conflicting styles, but it's bringing all the best out of the two of them, and it's amalgamating into this style of play that is so difficult to defend against because it's so quick, so pinpoint. You get pace up front, you get pace on the wings. You've got midfielders that are just orchestrating the game. One in particular really did run the show today. Everybody knows who that is. It's definitely in the headline. But yeah, I was just very impressed. A very professional job done today. And 4-0 didn't flatter Celtic, because it could have been 8-0 if they had their shooting boots on. I don't think they broke sweat today.
Yeah, Kyogo could have had a first half hat trick, to be fair to him. But yeah, just good to get the first one out the road, Ryan. They played very, very well. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there was a negative at all about any of the players that played today, even the ones that came on. Tony Ralston coming on, scoring the 4th goal. We both said it was going to be 4-0, but I went 1 up because you went first and said it was 4-0. I said that was the scoreline I was going to take, but so I went 5. So well done on getting the scoreline right. But I'm clear on assist because I wanted 4-0 too, and I don't like it too. I was predicting the same scoreline. So there you have it. But no, goals from Rio Hatate, Liam Scales, Nicholas Kuhn deflected effort, and Tony Ralston. Celtic wrapped up the first 3 points of the season in quite emphatic style, Ryan. Lots to be enthused and be positive about. Manager addressed the end about players coming in. You've seen people wanting them now and all that kind of stuff, but it does take time. But he understands the Celtic supporters' anxieties over that, and hopefully by the end it will sort itself out and those players will come in, quality that he's talking about. I guess what everybody's talking about is Celtic have got 26 days to nail Rio Hatate and Matt O'Reilly to the floor, make sure they're not going anywhere. Yeah, I just nailed them somewhere in the dressing room or whatever. Yeah, exactly. I'll just lock all the doors and all the exits and not let them leave, because today I thought those two were particularly good.
Absolutely. Where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with Matt O'Reilly, because we all know my feelings on Rio Hatate? Matt O'Reilly, very, very good today. Matt O'Reilly was very good, but he was overshadowed by another player that was on the park. But he still got an assist, a really good assist for Liam Scales' goal, the second goal of the afternoon. It was a great cross into the box, direct from a corner, may I add. That's not really an avenue that Celtic really go with.
I said in my instant analysis, that's the 8th wonder of the world, Ryan. Celtic scored them from a corner. There must be some mistake. There was a lovely header as well. Cracking header, had to corkscrew his neck and get the power behind it. Did really well. Excellent. I really liked that goal, to be fair.
It kissed the post and went in. It's one of those ones that's completely unsavable by Robbie McCrory, who had a really good game for Kilmarnock. Probably Kilmarnock's best player. At least 6 or 7 real top-class saves. And he still was on the end of a 4-0, not a drubbing, but a comprehensive win for Celtic. That just shows you how well he did, because I think you're talking 7-8 if all of those shots go in.
Yeah.
But they endeavoured, they continued, and I'm just glad that at the end of the game, they're still pushing for goals. They might have got the message that they need 4 goals to get to the top of the league. I love that attitude. Keep on playing, play till the end. A lot of people had left the stadium by that point, past the 85 minutes. The ones that stayed were rewarded because they got that 4th goal, which was absolutely brilliant to see. And just great endeavour from a player like Tony Ralston, who you know what you're going to get. Warts and all with Tony Ralston, you know that there's limitations to his game, but what he lacks in some areas, he makes up for in heart and endeavour. And he gets that goal. And I knew he was scoring that goal the moment he was running onto it. That's his shot. That's his domain. He wants that. And it was just a great finish as well. A real bit of quality through the legs from McCrory. So yeah, no negatives whatsoever today. Just delighted with the way it went.
Also, like Kyogo's performance today, he might not have got on the score sheet, but he was very much a team player today. And did a lot of good things. Link-up play was excellent. That assist for Kuhn, or certainly the ball out to Kuhn, was magic. And there was lots of things that pleased me greatly today. I think that will please the manager greatly as well. Kyogo doesn't have to be in the score sheet to affect the game. Should have scored, and probably be kicking himself that he didn't. But he looked razor sharp, and I like that. I liked his attitude today, and it was all about the team today. And he got the message, didn't he, about the memorandum about it's all about the team. Individual brilliance is great, but this is all about the collective, isn't it?
Yeah, I loved his performance today, in all honesty, and it doesn't take away the fact that he didn't score today. Doesn't take away the fact that he was really good on the ball. He single-handedly makes that 3rd goal for Nicholas Kuhn. Yes, it's a deflection past McCrory, but it's all about that pass, pass from deep from Kyogo into Kuhn's domain. That's where he wants the ball, and I was just really impressed by that. Really impressed by the selflessness of Kyogo's overall play. I think with the Japanese boys in particular, with Kyogo and Hatate, anything that's been lost in translation over the past year has suddenly been found out this season, and it's working. Whatever they're talking about, whatever Rodgers is talking about with Hatate and Kyogo, you've seen it today. It's working. They're clicking. Yeah. They understand what Rodgers wants. Now, Hatate not taking as many risks, but still with those great cutting passes through the middle, turning players at will. It's just it was great to see today. These are Postecoglou players that are playing well under Brendan Rodgers. Yeah. Oh, you've muted yourself.
He's clearly had a word with Hatate about all of that and the player that he could be, because he's a talented player. Well, there's no one is doubting that. But yeah, I thought a lot of stuff was on point today. Something that will go largely unnoticed, but I want to mention it, is Greg Taylor's wee shunt for Hatate's 1st goal. Honest to goodness, in a crowded penalty area after Celtic have won the ball back, just to keep your calmness and composure and just lay it into his path. Watch it again, Ryan. It seems so simple, but it's a thing of beauty. And Hatate just goes, right, I'm having that, bang. Just a real wonderful layoff, but there's a lot of bodies there. You know what I mean? You've got a split second to make your mind up and play that pass. And as I say, it's just a real lovely shunt. Just exquisite wee shunt, and I just thought that deserved a mention, because that's the pass that Hatate buries, and that gets Celtic off to a flyer. And cool head under pressure, because they won the ball back in a congested penalty area, and somehow Greg Taylor found the opening to, play that pass. I just thought that it'll be vastly underrated how good that pass was, actually. You know what I mean? So just thought I would give it a mention.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I agree with the fact that I thought he was one of Celtic's better performers today as well. And there were a lot of good performers, but he was solid. He was solid in that left back position. I thought he was better than Alistair Johnson, who's still making his way back into the team. I'll give him a bit of a I'll let him off because it's his first game back. You expect the all dominating performance from Johnson. It's his first game back. I thought Taylor was the better out of the two on the day. I thought he was good in possession, tried to get the ball forward as often as he could. Going into the middle of the park as well, playing that inverted role, trying to be an extra midfielder, overloading the midfield. Kilmarnock didn't have an answer for any of Celtic's players today. They couldn't handle it. And
No.
I thought the defence in general was really good. Scales' passing was for the most part good, more good passes than not. Cameron Carter-Vickers was getting marked by Kyle Vassell for 10 minutes, and then Vassell went to Scales because he realised he wasn't getting any joy. He wasn't getting any joy from him whatsoever. Cameron Carter-Vickers does that to people. You think that you're going to get something from him. After about 10 minutes, you're marking the other centre back because you're not getting anything from him whatsoever. It's just a solid 8 out of 10 from Carter-Vickers. It's just what you expect at this stage from the defender.
Cameron Carter-Vickers 8, as he's known. That's his real name. Like Brian Rice, ex-Hibs and Nottingham Forest, that became his real name. You know what I mean? People would tag that on about Brian Rice, but there you have it. Yeah, I mean, there was just lots of stuff that were pleasing on the eye today, Ryan. Just the way they played as well, the way Celtic manoeuvred the ball up the pitch. Kilmarnock didn't have any answer. And even when Celtic lost it, there was that collective will to get it back. I think they were operating under the Pep Guardiola 6-second rule, weren't they? 7-second rule, whatever it is, because they seemed to get it back in jig time and then were a wee bit more creative with it. So I liked that. They hunted in packs, but I thought McGregor, Taylor, O'Reilly and Hatate were able to find pockets of space a lot of the time. They were dragging people all over the place, which allowed the likes of Kuhn and Forrest to exploit the wide areas. And, Celtic fans love wingers, don't they? They love people that can take a man on and, do stuff. And lots of people bigging up Kuhn today. I thought Kuhn was good, but I thought he drifted. When he drifted in the game, he was great, but he also drifted out the game a lot for my liking, Ryan. So I need more. I need I need more out the 90 minutes. When he drifts in the game, he was great. Don't get me wrong, he was positive and he did a lot of good things, but there are times when he just kind of lies there dormant and he's not doing anything. And I want him to be involved all the time because he looks like he could be a potent weapon for Celtic this season in terms of goals and assists. So, but I just thought that there was a lot to love about Celtic today, especially from middle to front. And with Kyogo for me, his attitude was spot on. It was magnificent. So I just, I was really pleased with everybody. I'm not saying that I wasn't pleased with the backline because the backline didn't really have much to do. And Kasper Schmeichel, he'll not have an easier game, will he? But I tell you what, he can distribute that ball. My goodness. He didn't have much to do, but whenever the ball came to him, he was picking out passes, and I'm thinking, you're the man. And you're very good at that.
And to go back to the best player on the park, he will appreciate that, having the ball out to him quickly. If he can find that pass early doors to Hatate with his back to goal, he can then turn and swivel on it and really get forward and make things difficult for the opposition. The fact that he doesn't need to take that touch, that Joe Hart did have to take the touch more often than not before passing it out, that split second is going to make all the difference because it's all about these tiny advantages you have in games. Kilmarnock couldn't set whenever Kasper Schmeichel was on the ball because they're getting the ball out quickly. Instantly, they're on the back foot and looking to defend. So he's a good shot stopper. We will see that in the weeks and months to come, but he's good on the ball and with the ball at his feet. There's a reason why he was playing in the Premier League for so many years because he's adaptable.
There was no heart palpitations when the ball went back to him, was there? Thinking, oh no, what's coming? He just dealt with everything. I mean, he never had any problems today. He'll have much sterner tests to come, that's for sure. But I just, you watch behaviours, don't you, and idiosyncrasies and all that, and we're very big on that. And I just thought, great. His old man was there as well today, so not much of a sample size to go on, but I get the feeling Peter Schmeichel's going to be a regular at Celtic Park to watch his son. So he'll probably get asked to comment on a day when he's a wee bit busy, are he?
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty much a spectator for the whole 90 minutes. A couple of shots went straight at him and they were tame at that. So they weren't really... Any shot that Kilmarnock had was either tame or Celtic got in front of it. The defensive maturity was there on show as well. They were desperate for that clean sheet. It's also a great moment at full time. I'm not sure if the cameras caught it. Michael actually celebrates at full time as if he'd scored a winning goal because he's got a clean sheet. That's both the levels that you would want from a goalkeeper and the levels that you expect from a keeper like Kasper Schmeichel. I love to see that. Hopefully, the start of many clean sheets this season. I think he will play a huge part in those.
That, yeah, goalkeepers pride themselves on clean sheets. That was his first bow at Celtic Park, so that was the Celtic experience that Rodgers was talking about, and he'll be delighted that he kept a clean sheet. And that's probably why he celebrated like he did, because it might not mean much to people outside looking in. Celtic at 1-4-0, no problem, but it means everything to Kasper Schmeichel. Had it finished 4-1, he'd have been bitterly disappointed, wouldn't he? Despite the fact that Celtic played well. So that's the levels that you want. You're right. You want them celebrating stuff like that and getting a feel for it. And one negative ride for me, Kyogo. How somebody has to explain to me how in God's name that's not a penalty. He's cleaned them out. He has cleaned them out, and Vass said it wasn't worth a check, I believe, and there was no offside. And my goodness, well, the other decision involved Kyogo as well, with the tight offside when he scored, and the lines weren't drawn, so nobody knows for certain if that was. It was very close, very tight, but you didn't see lines. But Ryan, that's a penalty. I don't care if it's 4-0 or 8-0 or whatever. Now Celtic lost a title on a goal once, and it was a penalty kick in the not too distant past. So these things matter. They do matter. I don't care what MD says. I don't care if it meant the goal had been sent off for the denial of a goal scoring opportunity, which is the rule. You have to apply the rules there, Ryan. Kyogo's been cleaned out by Robbie McCrory. It's a stonewall penalty.
I've only seen it in real time. I've not actually watched the clip of it, but from where I was sitting watching the game, it looked as if it was a penalty. It was like akin to one of those ones last season. Remember Andre Onana, the Manchester United goalkeeper, that got away with similar, actually, because he cleans out a Wolves defender or forward or whatever, and nothing is given. I don't understand it. Is the reason why they didn't give it because Kyogo had overran it potentially, and they think that he was going to get the penalty? I'm not sure, but it looked a penalty from where I was sitting. I'll need to see it again before I make a full and complete judgment. But the one time that I did see it, it's one of those ones that you've seen given probably against Celtic. So what you're looking for is maybe some consistency in that regard. If it's a penalty, if it's that clear cut, not to even look at VAR, that confuses me, because it could have a completely different interpretation for a different referee. So why not at least go...
Going with what Ian Crocker and Chris Sutton were saying on Sky, it wasn't offside. So they said they weren't looking for an offside. So I just start, listen, it's okay, you can take it in the sense because you've won 4-0, but rules are rules, Ryan. You have to apply them. And for me, it's a stonewall penalty. And again, are they going to get an explanation? I think Celtic have to ask for an explanation for that and ask why VAR didn't get involved privately anyway. Because they, as I say, I would really like to know why that wasn't a penalty, because he knocked it to the side. It wasn't as if he wasn't going to get it. He was going to get it. So, but listen, that's the only negative on a day when Celtic have bossed that game 4-0. Say thank you to the 372 people that and rising that are joining us at this minute in time. And so I'll take this moment to say thank you to our sponsor, as we always do. Take a moment to have a quick word from the sponsor. And if you're looking for a winning heating solution for your home, then MPH Boilers is your go-to team They're an award-winning family-run business serving all of mainland Scotland. They bring the best in boiler installations and servicing, and they've partnered with Viessmann, known for their top-notch German engineered boilers. And MPH Boilers ensure that your home stays warm and efficient all year round. And for more information, visit www.mphboilers.co.uk. We say thank you to them, great supporters of the Celtic Way and their sponsorship. So thank you for that. And if you haven't already subscribed, then we want you to subscribe. Hit that button. Costs you £4 for 4 months of top quality journalism covering the club you love. You can get to see myself and Ryan on these daily briefings and podcasts, if that's your bag. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. We thank everybody that has, and we thank the guys that took up the new subscription to try and win the Celtic Football Talk. We say thank you to them and welcome aboard. We hope you enjoy what we do, because we certainly enjoy what we do, and when the team plays like that, it's very enjoyable to talk about them, isn't it, Ryan?
Absolutely. And I have had a chance to watch, as you were speaking there, I had a chance to watch the penalty incident. How has that not been given? Now, it's... He actually impedes Kyogo's run as well, because he's going to get on the end of that very probably.
It's a penalty and a red card, Ryan. Let's not kid ourselves.
I just think with double jeopardy, though, it would have been a yellow card for McCrory probably. But I don't know how that's been given. And I think a good sort of barometer for a penalty decision, I read on Twitter there that Chris Boyd was saying it's a penalty. That's when you know it's a penalty, because it's got to be blatant if Chris Boyd is saying it. So if he's saying it, then I'll take his word for it completely and say that should have been a spot kick to Celtic.
I haven't noticed this myself on social media, but in order to gauge how well Celtic played today, people are saying that Paddy Power have already tweeted that they're paying out on Celtic winning the title. I don't know how true that is, but
it's
there
true.
You go. It's true, right? Okay, there you go. Listen, I think complacency is a terrible thing, and I don't think the manager would ever allow that. I'd never allow that myself to think like that. There are still 7 games in the season to go. It's a good start. That's all it is. It's a good start, but lots of things can come into play over the course of a season. But you feel that if Celtic can replicate that over the course of the season, then they'll be very hard to beat and they'll be hard to stop.
Yes, I completely agree with everything that you said. Titles aren't won in August, they're won in April, May, June time. And I presume that'll be the same if Celtic do go on to win the title. They're in a pretty good position squad-wise. Obviously, they need to get a couple more signings through the door, but they look like they're all together. There seems to be a really, really high squad morale at the moment. You can see that even when the players are dancing after 3 goals. It's not for everybody, but I absolutely love seeing that from the players because it shows togetherness. Kyogo can get away with it because he's making things happen. I think for other players, maybe other players aren't allowed on TikTok as much as Kyogo is. He gets a pass because he steps up in those big games. I was disappointed that he didn't score that goal, the one that get crossed to him.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been a contender, one of the early contenders for moves of the season. Because the football was just,
wasn't it? Yeah,
it was just phenomenal football from start to finish. I'm like, Kyogo, just put it in the back of the net and it'll be a great goal.
I think social media's got a lot to answer for, Ryan, with these goal celebrations and stuff like that. But I'm like you. Listen, players, what's the alternative? That they don't smile and they just walk back to the centre circle. You see, it shows a bit of character, shows a bit of team spirit, camaraderie, and a bit of bonding there. And I love all that kind of daft, stupid stuff that they get up to. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody. And if you're a supporter of our rivals, you'll hate stuff like that. Celtic supporters didn't take too kindly to TikTok Todd, did they? But, if it's your bag and it's your thing, then so be it. So I am concerned myself with Celtic and their players, and I just take it with a pinch of salt and take it for the humour and the fun that it's meant to be, because it does show that there's a camaraderie and a team spirit in that dressing room, and that they are all in it together, and they don't mind taking the mick out themselves as well. There's a bit of self-deprecation there too, Ryan, a bit of humility.
Yeah,
as the manager bangs on about,
I would much rather be moaning about goal celebrations, because then it shows that Celtic have actually scored goals and they've got something to moan about apart from not scoring goals, which is a brilliant thing to have. Totally fine with it. I really enjoyed Scales' celebration with Hatate. I don't know if there's all of these moments that you watch when you're at the game. You see the whole pitch, you see the whole view. There's a point where Scales scores the goal, and the guy that's celebrating most in the Celtic team is Rio Hatate, who does a knee slide to go and meet Scales for scoring that goal. It just shows you the squad morale is brilliant. Now, Scales and Hatate, I know Hatate's English is improving, but it's not his first language. It just shows you the power of football and the power of that teamwork and that camaraderie between the two. I love to see that. And at the end of that celebration, he was on Scales' back. It was just great to see.
There's a picture of him smiling and he's got the gum shield in and he's on his back.
Yeah.
I think it's twofold, Ryan. I think he's thinking, my goodness, Scales has just scored, and then he's thinking, but he scored from a corner kick. So I think it's a double whammy, And there was a stat flashed up today during the Tayside derby, and it was Dundee led the charts for goals from set pieces last season. 20 they scored. And the list of about 5 teams, Celtic were nowhere on it. And I was like, wow, Dundee scored 20 goals from set pieces. There you go. That's how valuable that they can be. They can contribute 20 goals a season. Happened with Dundee last season. So, we have to get better at that, don't we? I just feel that, and that's a good start today, because that was a right good goal that he scored. As I say, the craning of the neck muscles and corkscrewing his head. It was a textbook header. It was cracking, the way he put it in. I want to see more of that, Ryan. I want Celtic to become potent at set pieces, or certainly up their game and be better at that kind of thing.
Yep, it's definitely an avenue in which Celtic should use to their advantage, especially if they're getting loads a game. They've got a tall team. They've got some really tall players. Ideally, I would want Matt O'Reilly to be in the box rather than taking the corner kicks, because he's a tall player. What is he, 6'2", 6'3", round about that? He's one of the taller players on the pitch, so I would like to see him in the box. Although if he's putting in balls like that, then I've got no issue with him being the corner taker. Although if it could probably be Palma as the season goes on, because he was a good corner kick taker. It's really unlucky with some of the crosses he had last season. Players didn't get on the end of them. But yeah, look, it's an avenue in which Celtic can score from, and because they get so many corners a game, you want them to score more goals. They want them to be getting 10, 15, 20 goals a season. Doesn't matter how you score. It's an opportunity to put a ball into the box. I was actually also speaking to somebody today who was watching Alistair Johnson in the Copa America, and he was saying that Alistair Johnson has a killer long throw on him. He's a long thrower for Canada's national team, and Celtic haven't been utilising that whatsoever. If he can do that, I want Celtic to fight fire with fire, because you see other teams do that against Celtic, and then all of a sudden there's a worry that Celtic can't.
How long is his throw, Ryan? Is it Rory Delap-esque? Is that what we're talking?
I don't know if it's Rory Delap-esque, because he was a different animal altogether for Stoke. I remember that very clearly, but he can certainly fling the ball into the box or near off the box. So that's a weapon that Celtic have got to utilise as well. They've got to get these advantages if they've got players that can fulfil these requirements or fulfil that role in the team.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that getting worked on in the coming weeks and months, because if he can do it, then I want Celtic to be using it.
Yeah. Anything else take your fancy today, Ryan, about the game? Anyone else? Yeah.
I thought all the subs that came on looked positive as well. Even Yang, who was on for the last 10, 15 minutes, there was one run in particular that he looked really strong in his running, passing. It's easier to do it when you're 3-4-0 up. I will admit that, but it's good to see another good cameo appearance again from Odin Thiago Holm, who passes the eye test every time I watch him. In all honesty, he's quite graceful on the ball, and he seems to have a bit about him physically as well. I don't know if a couple of the players in particular have bulked up quite a bit over the summer, but I don't know about you, but I've noticed players look a wee bit bigger.
His minutes are creeping up as well, Ryan. Yeah.
Yep.
I think the manager realises, and we said, didn't we? I put it in my predictions that Odin Thiago Holm could contribute this season big time. And
agree.
Remember Bernardo still to come into that mix as well. I think that the triumvirate that started today are always going to be the triumvirate that starts as long as they remain in situ, right? So say Celtic with 26 days to make sure that stays the same. The status quo remains. But I think if any of them go, then I still think you've got guys that are capable of coming in and that being a kind of seamless transition and playing the same way, i.e. Odin Thiago Holm and Paulo Bernardo. They're not going to be as good as Matt O'Reilly. We get that, but I'm talking about being able to play the same way, the same style that Brendan Rodgers wants and make a contribution. Not everybody is as wonderful as Matt O'Reilly and as pleasing on the eye as Matt O'Reilly to watch. But, I just feel that there's a lot of guys who can contribute this season and they'll make big contributions. So, I was happy with Thiago Holm as well. And I say, Bernardo into that mix, that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm picking up some background noise in your. There's the water on.
No, my wife is drying her hair, I believe.
I'll take the lead here while you're away. Yeah, I thought the subs that came on were really, especially that midfielder and Odin Thiago Holm. I thought he was really impressive, and he can show that he can do the things that Matt O'Reilly, Rio Hatate can do, even when they're off the pitch. If he can come on and make a difference in those final 15, 20 minutes, then I'm all for him getting game time. I'm just talking about Odin Thiago Holm and the fact that if he can do that, then who's to say he can't break into this squad, into the starting lineup if he continues to impress? He's clearly listened to what Brendan Rodgers said and what Brendan Rodgers wanted off of him, and he's adapting it to his game, and he's getting rewarded by getting game time in a competitive match. So that's something for him to work on. He can be happy with his contribution. I think it was a lovely back heel as well at one point near the end of the game. That's become his trademark.
See, for me, and if we are to part company with Matt O'Reilly, I wouldn't feel so bad about putting somebody like Odin Thiago Holm in there, because I think he could grow in this team. He could grow in certainly in the way they're playing. He's listened to the manager. I don't want Matt O'Reilly to leave. I want him to stay for another season because I think he's vital to what Brendan Rodgers wants to achieve both domestically and in Europe. But I would have no qualms about throwing him in because he's been there a season. He knows the demands. So it's, and he now knows the style and how they're playing. They're all well versed. They all seem to have grasped the nettle here. And I think the manager was talking about that today, about progressing the ball and the way they played. And, and they're all very confident about playing a low block or a high press. He was like, it's the way they can transition and make up their own minds on the park about what's happening. And he said that shows that the growth and the development and the learning and development. And he also said it's all about continued development. He's 51 and he's always continually developing. I thought that was an excellent thing he said, because if he can do it, then so can the players. That's what he means, So I'm very happy about that they seem to be listening, So it's and here's Seamus coming in. Stop it, Tony. Holm won't do what Matt O'Reilly will in the Champions League now. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying he can come into the team and can contribute. Matt O'Reilly is the best player at the club, bar none, at this moment in time. And he is pretty irreplaceable. I said he could come into the team and play the way the manager wants. And given time, could have an influence like Matt O'Reilly. Not comparing the two players. But I wouldn't be so worried if Matt O'Reilly goes. I think there's an air of inevitability about Matt O'Reilly. If he doesn't go this season, he'll go the next season. But I'm just going to enjoy him while we can. But
every game you've got to enjoy it.
And there's some hope with Odin Thiago Holm moving forward. That's what I mean. And I'm seeing a lot of signs there that think, okay, you could, you've got a lot more to offer in that sense. That's the point I'm making. So
I want him to be the surprise package of the season for me. I want him to really burst onto the scene. I don't think he'll replace Matt O'Reilly. I don't think Paulo Bernardo will replace Matt O'Reilly. Matt O'Reilly's still at the club, so he's not needing replaced at this moment in time. But for me, if and when Matt O'Reilly goes, whether it's this season or next season, there might need to be now a spread of his goals, because I think you'll struggle to find a goal scorer that's going to score 15, 20 goals and get 15, 20 assists a season. You're going to have to then spread that out to the wing positions, buy a couple of players that are able to do that, buy another striker that's able to soften the load, and maybe your midfielders may need to become more technical players like Hatate, Odin Thiago Holm, Paulo Bernardo. Their numbers have to improve, but they're also going to have to distribute the ball out to the wingers to get more goals. I think that's the one area that Celtic really need to improve, is getting goals for the wingers.
Yeah.
They got one today with Kuhn, albeit with a lucky deflection, but you've got to be in there to get the goal. If they can distribute the goals, still scoring goals in midfield, but getting more in the wing positions, and I think they'll be totally fine. It's just, I think if Celtic were to lose Matt O'Reilly at this stage, if they were to lose him at this stage, I would be quite calm-ish, because I've got time to sufficiently replace.
Okay.
But if you lose him in about 2-3 weeks' time, then I would be starting to panic, because they need time to adequately replace him if he is to go. He's almost irreplaceable. They'll have to spend serious money. They'll have to spend some of the money that they'll get from Matt O'Reilly in order to replace him, because he is that good.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You are fast running out of superlatives to describe Matt O'Reilly, and I didn't want to put him in my instant analysis, because I think I've said everything about him. Just thought once again he was terrific today. So
he's a copy and paste footballer, isn't he? He just does that, and it's the same for Carter Vickers.
Yeah. See the last instant analysis on Matt O'Reilly. See that. But yeah, over 500 people joining us, guys. Thank you so much. Not read out as many comments as we would like, just because we were engrossed in the chat, but we will do it moving forward over the week. With Hamish joining us tomorrow, we'll get comments flicked up, but can't thank you enough, guys. It's 9:15 on a Sunday night. Another beautiful Sunday, I guess you could say, Ryan.
Hopefully the first of quite a few beautiful Sundays in the coming weeks. All eyes on next Sunday against Hibs, before then playing them the Sunday after in the and the League Cup. They had a really bad result today against St Mirren. That was I was going to say it's a shock. I wouldn't go as far to say it's a shock, because I know how good St Mirren can be, but they'll be looking for a bit of revenge and a bit of a comeback against Celtic. So I'd expect the best version of Hibs as we move into next Sunday and the Sunday after that. But Celtic are in a great place, and more of the same, please, if possible.
Well, Graham Caldwell was in the chat earlier, and I think he said Celtic will grub Hibs if they play anything like they did against St Mirren today.
Wow.
Graham might want to come in. I saw his comment, but it went very quickly in the chat, because there's lots of comments coming in. But yeah, he was saying that Celtic will take a few off Hibs if that's the kind of
always up their game against Celtic. So I would
exactly that. Yeah. No, I think he was just kind of going on what Hibs offered against St Mirren today. But yeah, it'll be a different game. But I kind of get where he was coming from on that. Knows his football, does Graham? So yeah, he was just sort of saying to us, Hibs weren't very good, guys. So if you play like the way you did today, then there he is. Graham Caldwell. Hibs getting smashed by Celtic over the next 2 weeks. Hibs are shocking, by the way. Absolute stroll for Celtic, says Graham. Well, we'll put that to the test next week, Graham, and the following week, Ryan, in the Cup. And we'll reconvene on that, Graham. And then we might even meet you at St Mirren Park the following week, because we play St Mirren away as well, don't we, on the Sunday. So
yep.
I think Graham was saying if we were going, Ryan, he would pop in his head and say hello. So it'd be good to meet Graham. But yeah, I just lots of stuff, to enthuse about. Just after the first goal, Ryan, I just felt the result was never going to be in any doubt. It was a kind of case of, okay, how many can we score here? Can we, what do they say? Put on the style and pile on the agony?
That's it, absolutely. Hopefully, they can do that at least another 37 times over the coming season. But yeah, starting as mean to go on. 4-0, 4-0. Rio Hatate doing Rio Hatate things. And yeah, all is well in the land of Celtic at the moment. Matt
O'Reilly doing Matt O'Reilly things, but for how long? How much longer, Ryan? Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we need the EastEnders theme after you said that. You've left it on a cliffhanger.
Doof, 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 doof. One of the ones, is it? Yeah.
That's it.
Guys, really enjoyed your company. Thanks very much. Hope you've enjoyed it today. I'm sure you have. The champions kicked off the Scottish Premiership 2024-25 season in fine style. They started where they left off last season, Ryan. So, but yeah, here's hoping. 1 down, Ryan. 37 to go.
Yep. Sounds good to me, and we'll be covering every single one of them. So stay tuned, guys, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Let's grow this channel. Let's make it even bigger than before. Back, bigger, better, stronger. We never stop. All of the superlatives that you want, all of the sayings, all of the catchphrases. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll be there for you if you're there for us. So we really do appreciate it. Thank you to everybody.
Yeah, indeed. I can only echo what the young man said there. Ryan, you get yourself home and out the rain and in the warmth of your house, fella. All right. And I shall see you all tomorrow. Well, the two of us will see you all tomorrow alongside Hamish, when we'll probably talk about the same stuff all over again, Ryan, won't we?
Absolutely. Copy and paste with a different twang to it as well. Yeah, all good where it is. I'm quite happy to talk about the same things because good result.
Will that be a copy and paste cast then? Is that what you're saying, Ryan? Yeah.
Control C, Control V. Yeah, one of those.
Indeed. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Probably go and watch Sports Scene. They'll have it on at some point tonight, won't they? And watch it all over again. Take care, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your night.